Ahoy there, mateys, and welcome to another episode of the Pirates vs. Werewolves podcast.
Aye, that's right.
We're about to embark on another thrilling pirate raid into the wild world of flash fiction.
Yes, indeed. Always a wild ride with these.
We're going to treat these like they're blockbuster movies or maybe best-selling novels.
Absolutely. Give them the full treatment, eh?
But, keeping it nice and concise for you.
Right to the point. No messing about.
So you, the listener, get those sweet, sweet aha moments.
Exactly.
All the good stuff.
Without getting bogged down, of course.
Exactly. Okay, are you ready for today's tales?
Hit me with them. I'm all ears.
First up, we've got The Howl of Cygnus X7b.
Intriguing title.
I know, right? It's got space pirates
Ooh, I do love a good space pirate.
butting heads with some seriously creepy bioengineered alien werewolves.
Hold on. Alien werewolves.
Yeah, and not your typical furry kind either. We're talking cybernetics, bioluminescent conduits, the whole shebang.
Now, that's a twist I wasn't expecting. Sounds like trouble.
And it all goes down on a derelict space lab.
The setting's always so crucial, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sets the mood.
Absolutely. Derelict space lab. You just know things are going to get messy.
Messy is an understatement, I'd wager.
All right, then for something completely different, we've got Rune Wolves.
Okay, bring on the runes.
This one is more, it's got a bit of that urban fantasy vibe. We've got these teenage werewolves who discover they can tap into some powerful magic through ancient runes.
Teen werewolves with magic. Sounds like a recipe for chaos.
Yeah, and as you can imagine, drawing on that kind of power attracts some unwanted attention.
Always does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Magic and trouble, they tend to go hand in hand.
So yeah, glowing fur, crackling energy, dark forces lurking about. It's got it all.
Sounds like a fantastic double bill.
Right. Buckle up, because we're about to set sail on this pirate raid.
Let's plunder those stories for all they're worth.
Okay, first up, let's dive into that spacefaring saga, The Howl of Cygnus X7b.
I'm ready when you are.
All right, so we're introduced to this crew of space pirates aboard the Star Reaver, and right off the bat, you meet Captain Kalen Vance, also known as, wait for it, Void Razor.
Void Razor, huh? Sounds like he's seen some action.
Oh, I think it's safe to say that. And get this, he's got a cybernetic eye.
A cybernetic eye. Now that screams experienced space pirate. What do you reckon it saw, eh?
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Now, next up is the first mate, Zara Khan. She's described as pragmatic, the voice of reason on the show.
Ah, the one who keeps the captain grounded. You always need someone like that in a crew, especially a crew of pirates, right?
Absolutely, someone to counter that reckless Void Razor energy.
Exactly.
Then we've got the pilot, Glitch Rorik. The name kind of says it all, really. He's got all sorts of neural implants, so he's definitely the daredevil of the bunch.
Neural implants, that's some serious tech.
Oh yeah, this guy's definitely pushing the limits, always looking for an edge, even if it means taking crazy risks.
I can already tell he's going to be a wild card in this story.
Totally. And for a bit of muscle, we've got Grok.
Now, what kind of a name is Grok?
Well, he's this hulking Xylar, which is a really tough alien species.
Right, so the brawn of the operation. I bet he's got some stories to tell.
I'm sure he does. And last, but certainly not least, we've got the ship's doctor.
The ship's doctor, eh? Every pirate crew needs a good one.
Well, this one's a bit different. It's Dr. Eris Thorne, a disgraced xenophysicist.
Disgraced, you say. Now, that piques my curiosity. What did this doctor do?
That's the big question, isn't it? Was it some experiment gone wrong, or maybe he stepped over some ethical lines? The flash fiction doesn't really spell it out, but you just know there's a story there.
Absolutely. Adds a whole layer of mystery to the character. Makes you wonder if he can be trusted.
Right. Is he genuinely seeking redemption with this pirate crew, or is he hiding something even more sinister?
It's the kind of question that keeps you guessing.
So anyway, Thorne, he stumbles across these residual energy signatures.
Energy signatures. Now, this is where it gets interesting.
Yeah, and these aren't just any old energy readings. We're talking about the legendary phase crystals.
Phase crystals. Never heard of them.
Well, they're incredibly rare and, more importantly for a crew of pirates, insanely valuable.
Ah, so that's the bait, the treasure that sets them on this perilous path.
Exactly. And where do these phase crystals happen to be?
Somewhere dangerous, I'd wager.
Oh, absolutely. They're on a moon called Whisper Moon.
Whisper Moon. That doesn't sound too inviting.
Yeah, it's orbiting a star called Cygnus X7b.
So we're out in deep space, are we?
Way out there. And this moon, it's supposedly uninhabitable. It's got this eerie twilight and a toxic atmosphere. Oh, and did I mention it's home to a long-abandoned Kronos Corp research facility?
Kronos Corbus.
Yeah.
If there's one thing science fiction has taught us, it's that corporations and abandoned research facilities never lead to anything good.
You're telling me.
What is it with these corporations always meddling with things they don't fully understand?
Right. It's like they're asking for trouble. And to make matters worse, there are all these rumors about a containment breach at the facility.
Containment breach. Oh boy, that's never a good sign.
It sets off alarm bells, doesn't it? Now, you can imagine the crew's reaction to all of this.
Yeah, I bet they weren't all too keen on venturing into an abandoned facility with potential alien beasties running loose.
Well, you'd be right. Zara, being the sensible one, immediately voices her concerns.
Makes sense. She strikes me as the type who values caution over reckless abandon.
Yeah, she's seen enough to know that Kronos Core has a pretty shady history when it comes to, well, containing things they probably shouldn't be messing with in the first place.
You can't say I blame her for being apprehensive. It's like walking into a cosmic horror movie.
But you know pirates, always driven by the promise of treasure. And Glitch, well, he's especially excited about the prospect of a big score.
Ah, so there's always one who's blinded by the potential riches.
Totally. He figures if they can get their hands on enough phase crystals, they can finally afford that Kessel Run hyperdrive.
Kessel Run hyperdrive. That's the stuff of legends. Imagine the places they could go, the things they could do.
Exactly. So despite Zara's reservations, the lure of those phase crystals proves too strong to resist.
Classic pirate dilemma. Risk versus reward.
And so they set off on their stealthy approach to Whisper Moon, navigating asteroid fields like wraiths. It's quite a visual, their ship weaving through the debris, trying to stay hidden.
Makes you feel the tension already. Sneaking into the lair of the unknown.
When they finally arrive, it's everything you'd expect from an uninhabitable moon. Eerie, twilight, a toxic atmosphere that makes you glad you're not there in person.
Can practically smell the sulfur and see the strange shadows.
And their initial scans, they confirm the derelict facility and those chaotic energy readings coming from the phase crystals. But there's something else, something unexpected.
What is it? Don't leave me hanging.
Faint, erratic biosignatures.
Biosignatures. You mean there's something alive down there? On an uninhabitable moon?
That's what they're starting to realize. And it's not a comforting thought.
I bet not. That's the kind of detail that starts to send chills down your spine. You know something bad's about to happen.
Right. It's that slow build of tension, the creeping realization that they're not alone.
Brilliantly done.
So they land their ship near this massive, gaping entrance to the facility.
A gaping maw leading into the unknown.
I like it. And as they step inside, the place is, well, derelict is an understatement.
I bet. What do they see?
It's all flickering lights, casting long, distorted shadows. Strange, crystalline flora clinging to the walls and glowing with this unsettling luminescence.
Sounds beautiful in a creepy alien kind of way.
Yeah, it's got that vibe. And then there are these huge claw marks raked across the walls, dried stains that are probably best left unidentified.
Don't tell me blood.
The flash fiction leaves it to your imagination, which is probably even more disturbing.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Sometimes what's left unsaid is far more frightening.
And of course, there are shattered containment units. You know, the kind that just scream, something got out.
I was wondering when those would show up. Classic horror trope.
They never disappoint. So Thorne, with his xenophysicist knowledge, he starts analyzing the environment.
He's their expert on the alien, right?
I'm
Sure, he's in his element down there, even if it's a bit spooky.
Yeah, in a morbid way, you're right. He finds these unique genetic markers and these intense energy fields emanating from the lower levels. And guess what he discovers?
What?
The primary fissure access tunnel.
Access tunnels. Leading to.
The source of the phase crystals. It's like the facility is beckoning them deeper, deeper into its heart.
Or its stomach, perhaps. Like some cosmic beast luring them into its digestive tract.
That's a disturbing thought, but yeah, you get the idea.
Oh, I do.
Now, this is where things take a turn for the worse. They're exploring one of the lower levels, and suddenly they hear this piercing, high-frequency screech.
Oh, no. I knew it. Something's coming.
Yeah, and it's coming fast. There's this blur of movement in the shadows, and bam! One of the crew members is knocked off their feet.
So the first encounter. What is this thing?
Well, let me paint you a picture.
Do tell.
It's sleek, almost elegant, but in a predatory way. It's got these biomechanical plates that give it an armored look.
So not your average werewolf, then?
Not even close. And get this, it's got multiple glowing red eyes.
Multiple eyes. That's just creepy.
Totally unsettling. And then you've got those classic razor-sharp obsidian claws, but there's also this network of bioluminescent conduits pulsing beneath its skin.
Bioluminescent conduits. What in the world are those?
The story doesn't really go into detail, but you can imagine it's not good.
I'm picturing some kind of pulsing, glowing veins. Freaky.
Yeah, definitely nightmare fuel. And as they're trying to defend themselves, the thing just tears through their weapons like they're nothing.
Sounds incredibly strong.
Oh, it is. And fast. It moves like a blur, striking with terrifying precision.
I bet they were caught off guard.
Completely. Even Grok, remember the hulking Xyler?
The muscle, yeah.
Even he gets hit. Hard.
No way. If they can take down Grok, this thing's seriously dangerous.
It's a beast. And while they're trying to figure out what they're dealing with, Thorn chimes in, all calm and scientific.
Calm in the face of that thing.
You know how scientists are, always trying to classify things. Anyway, he says, lupine xenoform.
Lupine xenoform? What does that even mean?
Well, lupine obviously refers to wolves. And xenoform, well, that basically means alien life form. So put it together, and you've got yourself an alien werewolf.
So it's official. This is no ordinary werewolf. They're dealing with an engineered monster.
A bioengineered nightmare, to be more precise.
This is where the real trouble begins, I suspect.
Oh, I have no idea.
Give me the gory details then.
So as they continue exploring the facility, trying to find those phase crystals, they come across these scattered data logs.
Data logs. Sounds promising. Maybe some answers are waiting for them.
Well, they definitely get some answers, but they're not the kind you want to hear.
Let's hear it then.
They learn about something called Project Lycos.
Project Lycos.
Ooh.
Sounds ominous.
It was Kronos Corps' attempt to create these adaptable hunter-killers.
Hunter-killers. So these xenoforms were deliberately created.
Yep. And how did they do it, you ask?
Go on. Tell me.
They spliced alien DNA with cybernetics and then harnessed the power of, guess what, the phase crystals.
The phase crystals. So the very things they're after are what created the monsters they're now facing. That's a delightful irony.
Isn't it? And as you can imagine, Project Lycos didn't exactly go according to plan.
I was thinking the same thing. When do these corporate science projects ever go right?
Never. There was a catastrophic failure, a containment breach, and boom, the xenoforms got loose.
I should have seen that coming.
Everyone saw it coming, except maybe Glitch, who was still dreaming about that hyperdrive.
I bet. Poor, naive Glitch.
Yeah, well, his naivete kind of goes out the airlock after the xenoforms start attacking with a vengeance.
Oh, they're not just playing around anymore, are they?
Nope. These aren't random encounters anymore. It's clear they're being hunted, and the xenoforms are getting smarter, more coordinated with every attack.
Pack hunters. Clever. Adaptable. I'm starting to see why these things were so sought after by Kronos Corps.
Yeah, as terrifying as they are, you can't deny their effectiveness.
A chilling efficiency.
Exactly. But amidst all the chaos and terror, the crew members start to show what they're made of.
Ah, the human spirit, eh? Or in this case, alien spirit, too.
Right. Grok, with his trusty plasma cannon, manages to buy them some time, even though he's taking some serious hits himself. Zara, she steps up as a leader, using her tactical skills to keep everyone alive.
She's proving her worth in a crisis.
She's a natural. And then there's Thorn.
The disgraced doctor. What's he up to?
You wouldn't believe it. He's surprisingly agile for a scientist. And he's using these sonic emitters, for research to fend off the xenoforms.
Sonic emitters? I wouldn't have pegged him as the fighting type.
Me neither, but hey, desperate times call for desperate measures.
I bet he surprised himself.
Probably. But just when you think they might actually stand a chance, the xenoforms unleash this new, terrifying ability.
Don't tell me they can fly now.
Not quite, but it's almost as bad. It's called an EMP howl.
An EMP howl, like an electromagnetic pulse.
Yeah, it knocks out all their main weapons, plunging them into darkness and leaving them with nothing but backup systems and hand-to-hand combat.
Talk about a sudden shift in the power dynamic.
It's a complete game changer. Suddenly, it's all about survival, fighting tooth and claw, literally.
This is where things get brutal, I imagine.
Oh, it's intense. The flash fiction really goes into detail about the sounds, the smells, the raw ferocity of the fight.
Paint me a picture. What's it like?
Imagine the sickening crunch of claws on armor, the snapping of teeth, the desperate clang of metal on metal. It's a chaotic, desperate scramble for survival. Grok's using his brute strength to hold them back. Kalen's fighting with precision, using whatever he can get his hands on. And Zara, she's a whirlwind of blades, taking down xenoforms left and right.
Sounds absolutely terrifying.
It is. It's a reminder that even in a futuristic setting with advanced weaponry, sometimes it comes down to basic survival instincts.
The primal struggle for survival. Never gets old, does it?
Nope. But amidst the chaos, Thorn manages to get a scan through all the interference. And what he discovers is both fascinating and terrifying.
What did he find?
The primary crystal fissure. It's deep below, pulsing with overwhelming energy, and it's teeming with biosignatures. He calls it the nest.
The nest. So that's where they're all coming from.
That's what it looks like, the heart of the xenoform infestation.
And the source of the phase crystals, I imagine. Risk and reward, all wrapped up in one horrifying package.
Absolutely. And the flash fiction describes the cavern as this breathtaking but terrifying place.
I bet. What's it like?
Imagine this vast cavern illuminated by the eerie glow of colossal phase crystals. But it's not the crystals that are scary, it's what's lurking among them.
The xenoforms, right?
Countless xenoforms filling the cavern. It's like a scene out of a nightmare.
A whole army of those things.
Yeah, and as if that wasn't bad enough, they encounter the alpha xenoform.
Alpha xenoform?
It's massive, even larger than the others, and it's clearly more intelligent, more cunning. It's got this aura of pure malice.
The big boss, eh?
It's the final boss battle, Space Pirate Edition.
Sounds epic. What happens?
Well, the battle is chaotic, brutal. You've got Grok holding the line at the entrance to the cavern, sacrificing himself to buy the others time. Zara's desperately coordinating their remaining firepower, trying to keep them alive.
Damn it, Captain.
Kalen, he's locked in this deadly duel with the Alpha. It's all flashing blades and snarling fury. But then Thorn comes up with a desperate plan.
A plan? What is it?
He thinks he can use a shard of phase crystal to create a feedback loop that will overload the xenoform's resonance frequency.
So fight fire with fire.
Kind of. It's risky, but it's their only shot.
Does it work?
For a glorious moment, it does. Thorn activates the shard, this deafening chime reverberates through the cavern, and the crystals react violently. The xenoforms, including the Alpha, they're all momentarily disoriented. It's like they've been stunned.
So they've got a chance.
They do. They grab as many phase crystal shards as they can carry and make a run for it.
It's now or never.
But as they're escaping, the Alpha recovers.
Oh, no. I knew it was too good to be true.
Yeah, it unleashes another EMP howl, plunging them back into darkness. And Grok, he shouts a warning from the rear. More xenoforms are closing in, cutting off their escape route.
They're trapped.
Yeah, and to make matters worse, Kalen gets a message from Glitch on the ship.
What is it? Tell me.
They're under attack too. Xenoforms have boarded the Star Reaver. They're surrounded with enemies closing in from all sides.
It's a desperate last stand.
It is. They fight their way back to the surface, but they're losing ground. And then Grok. He sees the Alpha leaping towards the escaping ship, and he knows what he has to do.
Oh, no. He's going to sacrifice himself.
He does. He fires his plasma cannon point blank at the Alpha, the blast engulfing them both in a blinding flash of energy. The ship manages to escape, but Grok, he's gone.
A noble sacrifice, but a tragic one nonetheless.
It is.
They got the phase crystals,
Yeah.
but at a terrible cost.
Yeah, the flash fiction ends with this really somber mood on the ship. They're battered, bruised, they've lost a friend, a crew member. And Thorn, he's analyzing the biosamples he managed to collect, and his findings aren't exactly reassuring.
What did he find?
He says there's a real possibility of future threats from the xenoforms. It's like this encounter, it's just the tip of the iceberg.
A chilling thought. Their nightmare might not be over yet.
And Kalen, he's reflecting on the whole ordeal, the cost of their victory. He's got this look of dread, like he knows they've awakened something they might not be able to control.
The classic price of greed and hubris. You never know what horrors you might unleash when you delve into the unknown.
Okay, so that was the Howl of Cygnus X7b. Quite the spacefaring adventure, wasn't it?
It was, filled with action, suspense, and thought-provoking questions about the limits of our ambition.
Now, are you ready for something a little more down-to-earth, but with a magical twist?
Bring on the runes. I'm ready for some werewolf magic.
All right, so this story, Rune Wolves, it starts with a group of teenage werewolves experiencing their first transformation together.
Ah, the classic werewolf coming-of-age story. Always a good one.
But this one has a twist. They're in this abandoned mill, and as they transform, something strange happens.
What is it? Don't leave me hanging.
Liam, one of the werewolves, his fur starts glowing.
Glowing fur. Now, that's not your typical werewolf transformation.
I know, right? And it's not just any glow, it's this intricate pattern of runes etched across his fur.
Runes, as in magical symbols. This is getting interesting.
Oh, it gets even better. Emily, another werewolf, she accidentally touches one of the runes on Liam's flank, and boom, this bolt of blue energy shoots out.
Hold on, she just accidentally triggered magic?
Yep. It's this spontaneous burst of power, and it freaks everyone out, but it also sparks their curiosity. They realize there's something more to their transformations than just turning into wolves.
I bet that was a shock to the system. Imagine suddenly discovering you have magical abilities on top of being a werewolf.
Yeah, talk about a double whammy. Now, this is where those old werewolf tales that Grandma May used to tell come into play.
Ah, so there's a history to this, a connection to folklore. I love it when stories do that.
Right, it's like their newfound powers are part of this ancient legacy they're just discovering.
Adds a sense of depth and mystery.
Totally. So they start experimenting, trying to understand how these runes work, how they can channel their power.
I can imagine them huddled over ancient texts, trying to decipher the meaning of these symbols.
Exactly. It's like a crash course in rune magic.
I wonder what kind of powers these runes grant them.
Well, each werewolf develops their own unique abilities. Benji, he discovers he can create illusions by subtly shifting the patterns in his fur. It's super cool, like a living camouflage.
A master of deception. I like him already.
Yeah, he's got that trickster vibe. And then there's Emily. She's all about pure energy manipulation.
So like lightning bolts and stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. She
Yeah.
can unleash these crackling bolts of energy. It's pretty impressive.
She sounds like a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, she is. And then Liam, well, he's the one whose glowing fur started it all. And he discovers that he can amplify his physical strength through the runes.
So he's the powerhouse of the group.
Yeah, he's basically an unstoppable force. So you've got these 3 teenage werewolves, each with their own unique magical abilities, and guess what happens?
Word gets out.
Exactly. They try to keep it a secret, but in the world of the supernatural, secrets don't stay hidden for long. Soon they've got these shadowy figures approaching them, making demands, offering deals that feel more like threats.
Sounds like they've stumbled into a whole new world of trouble.
They have. And then this cloaked figure shows up with a voice like rasping silk, and he delivers this ominous ultimatum. He basically tells them they have to join his side in this war for the supernatural.
A war? What are they fighting for?
It's not really clear, but it sounds like there's this whole power struggle going on in the supernatural world. And this cloaked figure, he wants to use the rune wolves for his own purposes.
So the classic good versus evil conflict with these teenagers caught in the middle.
Yeah, but they're not just going to roll over and do what they're told.
I wouldn't expect them to. They're werewolves after all.
Right. Sarah, she's kind of their unofficial leader. She flat out rejects the offer, even throws in a little bit of teenage sass for good measure.
What did she say?
She basically tells him, maybe we'll make you fetch.
Classic. I love her already.
Yeah, she's got guts. And so, the war is on.
They're not backing down.
Nope. They're not just teenage werewolves anymore. They're an army fighting for their freedom, their right to choose their own destiny.
A pack of rebellious werewolves. This is getting good.
And the story takes them to all these amazing locations. Forgotten ruins, underground caverns, hidden temples.
Sounds like a magical adventure.
It is. They're fighting all sorts of creatures, honing their skills, learning to work together as a team.
It's the classic hero's journey. Facing challenges, growing stronger, discovering who they truly are.
Exactly. But the final confrontation, it's with the cloaked figure himself.
The big showdown.
Yeah, and they discover that he's not just some random villain. He's a werewolf, too.
Oh, interesting. So they're fighting one of their own.
But he's been corrupted by rune magic, twisted by his obsession with power. It's like a dark reflection of what they could become.
A cautionary tale.
Yeah, it's a reminder that power, even magic, can be a dangerous thing.
What happens in the fight?
It's intense. He's unleashing all this dark magic, but the rune wolves are fighting back with everything they've got. They're using their individual powers, working together, pushing their limits.
Sounds like an epic magical battle.
It is. But then something unexpected happens. The ground beneath the cloaked figure, it starts to crack and split open, and he falls into this abyss.
He's defeated.
It's a pretty sudden end, but it's decisive.
So the Rune Wolves are victorious.
They are. They're battered, bruised, but more alive than ever. Their howl, it's different now. It's not just a primal expression of their transformation. It's a howl of victory, of defiance, of hope. But there's also a touch of fear in there. They've seen the dark side of magic, the potential for corruption, and they know they have to be careful to use their power wisely.
A fitting ending. They faced their fears, defeated their enemy, and emerged stronger, wiser, and with a healthy respect for the power they wield.
Yeah, it's a great reminder that power comes with responsibility.
And that even in the face of darkness, there's always hope.
Okay, so those were our two flash fiction stories for today.
Two very different tales, but both incredibly engaging and thought-provoking.
I know, right? So what do you think? Which one was your favorite?
It's hard to choose. The Howl of Cygnus X7b was a thrilling space adventure with those terrifying xenoforms and that tragic ending. But Rune Wolves had such a unique take on werewolves and magic. I love the whole concept of rune magic and the way those teenagers discovered and embraced their powers.
Yeah, it's tough to pick just one. They both had something special. But hey, that's the beauty of flash fiction, right? It packs so much imagination and excitement into such a short format.
Absolutely. It's like a concentrated dose of storytelling.
It's like a shot of adrenaline straight to the imagination.
Love that.
So we hope you enjoyed this pirate raid into the wild world of flash fiction.
It certainly did.
If you liked what you heard, be sure to rate and follow the Pirates vs. Werewolves podcast for more captivating stories and deep dives.
Aye, there's a whole ocean of tales out there just waiting to be plundered.
And we're the pirates who'll bring them to you.
Until next time, mateys.